Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick little knife video. I'm not going to be a long time, but I wanted to comment on something. Got a couple of Benchmades here, and I like a lot of stuff that Benchmade does. I mean, I don't like everything that Benchmade does, but they have a lot of pretty decent models. But before I get into what I actually want to talk about in regards to what Benchmade has done, I want to ask you this question. Have you ever been driving with someone and they do something a little sketchy and almost maybe even get into an accident, and then they say, I had the right of way, right? And maybe they did, right? Maybe they were in the right. Another good example of this kind of thing is pedestrians. Pedestrians who, shoot into a crosswalk, they don't look, they don't pay any attention to what's going on, they just walk out and they go, pedestrians have the right of way, or, especially in the crosswalk, pedestrians have the right of way. And they go charging out into traffic. We could probably go on with this, but another good example is bikers who insist on taking up the whole lane and are like, well, I've got a right to use the road just like everybody else. And you're there going, okay, technically you may be correct, but being right is not always the same as being smart. And so, well, they may be technically correct, it's not an ideal situation. Well, that brings me to the post that Rogue Blade Works shared on their stories today, in which Benchmade sent them a cease and desist order, not for this knife in particular, but I've got this knife and I'm going to come back and we'll look at this in detail in just a second. But specifically, they mention the 537 bailout design and the scales. And so Benchmade has said to Rogue Blade Works, we don't want you making these scales anymore. Now, I'm not sure how Rogue Blade Works is going to respond. Benchmade does own the rights to their own designs. However, again, being right is not always being smart. So let's take a look at this knife in particular. All right, everything on this knife except for the bolster and the blade and the internals are Rogue Blade Works. So it's a Rogue Blade Works pivot collar, Rogue Blade Works forged carbon fiber scales, which look phenomenal, Rogue Blade Works clip, and backspacer. All right, and guess what? I bought all of the stuff from Rogue Blade Works before I owned a Crooked River. So I actually, all of this stuff came in the mail and I had to sit around and wait until I got my hands on Benchmade Crooked River to put it all on. And here's where you got to go, okay, Benchmade, I get it. Maybe you're correct about this, but it seems like Rogue Blade Works is selling Benchmade knives because no one can use their product without first buying your knife. And so you kind of got to go, like, what's the thought process here? Maybe Benchmade is just, feeling salty because they don't have the rights to the axis lock anymore, and everybody and their brother has come along and put out an axis lock. So this is a way of sort of saying, look, everyone can copy this, but everyone can't just copy everything we've ever done. And as if, I don't know. Anyway, that's pure speculation. And it's, it's overly emotional to attribute to a business. You think of businesses as being fairly rational and making decisions that, help the bottom line. But I really got to wonder how having Rogue Blade Works stop making aftermarket scales for your knives helps your bottom line, because you've got to buy a Benchmade in order to use their product. Now, I guess, the immediate and obvious pushback would be, well, what about Benchmade's, system where you can go on their site and custom design your own knife? I guess it might cut into that a bit. And the price point I don't know. I've never really sat down and done the math on that. I do know some people who've put together some really, really cool knives using that that process. But again, I don't think Rogue Blade Works is even messing with that, because I've known people who said, hey, I'm going to do this Rogue Blade Works. Now, this is purely anecdotal, so but at least one person exists. They've said, I'm going to go and do the special Benchmade, select your knife stuff, because I want a particular blade steel, maybe S110V, or I haven't been on there in a while. It'd be really cool if you could get MagnaCut and S45VN and stuff like that. Anyway, I have known people who said, look, I want a specialized steel, so I'm going to go on Benchmade's website, upgrade the steel, buy the knife, then go to Rogue Blade Works and buy all that stuff. So really, even the customized option that Benchmade offers, which is pretty cool, even that, though, isn't highly affected by Rogue Blade Works making stuff. So, I don't want to belabor this point any longer, but I do want to share what I hope might, maybe, possibly come of this. First of all, hopefully Rogue Blade Works doesn't just shut down. Like, their primary business is making Benchmade stuff, right? They make bug out scales, and they make Crooked River stuff, and that's kind of their bread and butter. It'd be really cool, by the way, I don't know, if they made a Super Freak, if they made Super Freak scales, or even if Benchmade offered the Super Freak in their customizable section. Anyway, so I hope I hope Rogue Blade Works doesn't just go out of business. 2, I hope that Benchmade relents and doesn't pursue this any further. I know sometimes a cease and desist letter is just sort of a way of putting someone on notice to say, we know what you're up to, and we're not in love with it, but we're hoping to stop at this point. Hopefully that's the case here. 3rd, I'd like to see the knife community function a little more as a community. I get Benchmade and Hinderer and some of the others, who've been involved in legal stuff, Kai USA and Microtech, and there's lots of different stuff that goes on, and there are legitimately times when there's a need for that, but I feel like it would be a lot better to make a phone call and say, hey, I know you're doing this, I'm not in love with it. Is there something we can do? Is there some way that we can work this out before we get lawyers involved? Because frankly, getting lawyers involved, the only winners then are the lawyers. And certainly the big loser here, it could be Rogue Blade Works, but it's definitely going to be Benchmade. I've had a bunch of people on social media talking about how, this is a jerk move, and I'm not going to buy any more Benchmade knives. So that's all I've got to say about that. I do have to put a shameless plug in here, guys, because as I'm literally taking notes to talk about these scales, and I get a notification from DLT Trading, and they have Shaman Scales. I just happen to be sitting in front of my computer. I'm going to try something really stupid. It may suck, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm just going to show you the scales that are literally on my computer open in front of me right now. Okay, so the lighting in here is not ideal, but you can see that there are some really nice Shaman scales available on DLT Trading. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, well, the 2 reasons is, number 1, I have an affiliate link for DLT Trading down below. So if you want to buy these scales or something else from them, you can use that link down below. I'm sure Metal Complex has already bought in 3 or 4 sets. These are really tempting, and I'm tempted to buy these scales because I love the way these look, and then I'm going to have to buy a Shaman. I'm still a little on the fence, but I'm looking through these scales, and I was doing that just before making this video, thinking I may buy these scales and then go out and find a Shaman after the fact. So there's exactly the thing that we're talking about here, and my point is well made. The only reason I would buy a Shaman, I don't have one right now, would be because I like the thought and the look of the potential look of a Shaman with these scales, or a couple others. They have, let's see. There you go. Yeah, you can see they've got a bunch of options. Some of them are pretty compelling. So there you go. That's a bit of a shameless plug. As I said, if you're going to go to DLT and look at these scales, please use my affiliate link. That does help the channel a whole lot. In the meantime, let me know what you think of Benchmade's brilliant plan down in the comment section below. We'll finish the video with one last look at my very cool Benchmade Crooked River. And you know, I still love the knife. There are other Benchmades that I like and will probably own in the future, but it is really disappointing to see them do something which I admit, which I personally think is kind of dumb. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out that affiliate link or the link to White Mountain Knives. If you go over to White Mountain Knives, use my discount code SHARPSTUFF. That'll save you 10%, and it also helps the channel. DLT, sorry guys, I can't save you any money over there, but if you use that affiliate link and buy something, that again does help the channel a whole lot. All right, we'll talk to you soon.